Good day, this is Seewing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network, and today's VA government VA foreclosure presentation will be in Converse, Texas, which is outside of San Antonio. All right, so before I will go over details, I'm going to show you from this Zillow map why this location is very good. Oh, just so you know, this is Seewing Yee from the U.S. Network again. I was a U.S. Army for 20 years, and 1984 to 1985, I was stationed in the U.S. Army Fort Sam Houston, which is around 3 or 4 miles from the location of this property. All right, so Fort Sam Houston is right here, and Randolph Air Force Base is right here, a few miles away from this property. The location is very strategic. It's an excellent location. Uh, if you don't know, I've been promoting San Antonio, Texas for 10 years, at least 10 years. San Antonio is the one of the fastest growing city in the country for the last few years in a nation. And in terms of it is I believe, it's the seventh largest city in the country. The only city that is larger than San Antonio, obviously, is New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Boston, and maybe Dallas, and Houston is larger. So San Antonio is huge. It have massive growth, great economy, a lot of jobs, very diversified economy, very fast growing, and also it has one of the largest military concentration in the U.S. As I said, I'm very, needless to say, I'm very well versed in the area. I lived there, my wife and I, back almost more than 30 years ago. So we had a great time, a lot of things going on in San Antonio. The future of the real estate market in San Antonio, Metro San Antonio, is very, very promising. And this is an outstanding location. All right. And in terms of a potential tenant, because there are so many active duty, they are in the Air Force Base, Lackland Air Force Base to the west of San Antonio, U.S. Army Fort Sam Houston. Like I said, is a medical training center for all 5 military branches. They train doctors and nurses and medical uh, uh, personnel. So it's a very, very important uh, military base. And of course, the Air Force Base Randolph Air Force Base, they train Air Force pilots, and Lackland Air Force Base, they train uh, airmen base boot camp for Air Force personnel. And not only there's a lot of active duty located in San Antonio, it has a lot of veterans that decide to live there, and a lot of retirees, military retirees, call San Antonio their home. So I would say if you were to buy this property, most likely there will be perhaps maybe 30% of the potential tenant for this particular house is active duty soldiers, which is bodes very well. And of course, the other 2/3 percentage will be regular renters that have jobs, very good jobs, and that have the ability to pay you the rent. So the bottom line is the occupancy factor is very, very high. San Antonio has historically had has a very good consistent rental market, and the vacancy is extremely low. And I have many contacts in San Antonio. We have sold a number of rental homes for our California investors over the years, and they all have done well. It's a cash flow market, it's a fast growing market, and we have an excellent property management on site. We have several property management that I've known for many, many years. They have one of them is Clark Realty, Kevin Clark, who has been our who has been our turnkey provider for many, many years. So we have everything on the ground in the San Antonio area to assist our investors, whether they are buying via foreclosures or not. So with that said, this property is back on the market. Another buyer, their financing fell through. So as you can see, BOM means back on the market. So this is an extreme good value. As I said, the location is very, very good. The little bit of description here, it says right here, very, very close to Fort Sam and the Brook Army Medical Center. It's a huge Army Medical Center located very close by. Randolph Air Force Base, HEB, the big grocery store, Walmart. So it's a very, very, very good area. Okay, good location, and the price is very, very good. 144,500, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 4,500 square foot. Okay, and this is the address. So let's go over. In fact, let's go over briefly the 14 pictures. This is a typical. It's a good value, 4-bedroom, so it's going to rent well. So let's look at the exterior a little bit, and the interior a little bit dark. The garage is not the best looking. Yes, a little bit dark. Maybe some painting may be necessary. Maybe the ceiling may require a little bit of work. I don't know how much. But the backyard seems spacious. Let me see. So it's a relatively new home. So it's located in the B neighborhood, B plus neighborhood, B as in boy. Okay, so I would say, again, we don't know the estimated rehab cost yet until your offer is accepted. Then you go through the conditions of ordering an inspection report, and then the rehab costs could be around $3,000 to $5,000 out of your pocket. That's a protocol. All right. So you make an offer. If your offer get accepted, you are probably competing against 3 to 5 other potential buyers for this house. And the typical person, when a VA gather up all their submissions of offers, they will make a decision who they're going to accept. So typically the timeline for submission and acceptance, either to your offer or your prospective competing buyers for this property, is around 24 to 48 hours. So this presentation is primarily for our investors that are already in my program, and then they get the first priority, obviously. And if you are contemplating to purchase a property right now, for you it's too late. Obviously, because the property goes very, very quick, because they're so desirable, and the demands are so high for these great VA foreclosures in various markets, and the supply is very, very low. So these are always multiple offers situations. But you have to be in my program. So you look at my newsletter, you will determine what qualify for you to enter our program to. So we can work together. All right. So with that said, let's go through. This house is built 1997. It's a mere 20 years old, but still a very good bargain. Still considered relatively new. All right. Let's go scroll over. I will show you the cash flow analysis momentarily, but let's go through my step-by-step process. All right. So typically, via foreclosures, depending on the situation on the property, is typically 10 to 20% below market value. So not only you're getting tremendous value for 5% down as a investor, any investor that can qualify. You don't have to be a veteran. 5% down, you qualify with a positive cash flow, and then you buy below market value 10, 20%. I challenge you to find me another property anywhere in the country that have these two attributes I just mentioned. So I do not believe you're going to find it. All right. So the property taxes of course, in Texas, always almost 2% of the purchase price. So that will factor in with respect to the monthly cash flow. But I will show you the numbers, and I will dispel any presumption you may have with respect to just because the property tax is too high, you shouldn't buy this property. No, you have to think the big picture, think the overall number crunching, which I will clearly show you momentarily. All right, so do not jump the gun. So listen to the expert, me. So HOA fee is only $14 per month, no big deal. Yeah, property tax is a little bit too high, but the rent is very strong. The projected rent for a property of this neighborhood, this square footage, This condition is approximately 1450. This is just the estimate as I indicated. So I'll show you the pro forma momentarily to so you can see the real true numbers and the decision making process that you should comes to based on your research and due diligence. I already done my research and due diligence, and clearly this property meets the criteria for our investors with respect to VA foreclosure purchases. Okay, school district, no problem, right in the middle, 5 out of 10 numerical rating. So this is a seller's market. I mean, I know Zillow is not always accurate, but their prediction is this particular neighborhood could rise at 5% appreciation for the next 12 months. Who knows? But okay, so let me see what else I need to show you. Oh yeah, my rental market analysis, which is very critical. I use this website. It bodes me very well. So this is a key for me to promote this particular property and any other government foreclosure VA properties in the various market that we are presenting. So this rent-o-meter website really helps so much. So what I'm going to do, I decided to use my 3-mile radius rental market of similar square footage, similar homes within proximity of this property to show you the rental market activity, which is critical, right? 4 bedrooms, 2,100 square foot, 3-mile radius, and we will see the rental income metrics, and I will show you a little bit even more. So now by seeing that there are 59 4-bedroom homes within the past year and the 3-mile radius of being rented, clearly shows me this is a very good rental market that you can potentially get your rent tenant fairly easy, giving this numerical metrics. So so that's a good sign. All right. So, and how we determine the monthly projected rent is based on the square footage, 2,200 square foot of this property. A property half a mile away is rented for 1,600, so that's a good parameter. I'm trying to provide an apple-to-apple comparison with respect to square footage versus the projected rent. Another property, similar square footage, 2,187, less than a mile away, is almost rented for 1,600. So, okay, and the rest is pretty similar. So, yeah, so the rental market is very, very strong in this neighborhood, has been strong for many prior years, and there's no reason to believe this neighborhood will not rent consistently for the foreseeable future and beyond. All right. So, and finally, my conclusion is I'm going to show you the very important pro forma, if you will, right? First year performance projection, as some people call it cash flow analysis, but nevertheless, these numbers are critical component for investors to make an informed decision to purchase any property for that matter. All right, so let's go over from the high level for the remaining few minutes, and so that we can go from there. All right, so this property again is located in Converse, Texas, which is pretty much in the heart of San Antonio, Texas, and the purchase price $144,500. Very, very good value based on the square footage. Your down payment is a measly 5%. I mean, is it amazing? On a traditional investment property that you as an investor has been accustomed to, so far you're thinking you need 25% down payment. But in this unique program that I've been promoting, the expert that I am, you only can put down 5% and you still cash flow. I mean, look at the value, all right? I don't have to repeat this process, okay? Common sense and average intelligence individual will see the value of VA foreclosure program. All right, so 5% down of a 144K, not to say that you're gonna submit an offer exactly at the list price. You will probably have to submit an offer slightly higher than the list price. So to make your offer to the VA Veteran Administration more credible, all right? So your down payment 5% at 144.5 equal a measly 7,200. approximately, then your loan cost, then your closing cost $3,000, typical closing cost, and $5,000 is just a projection of the rehab cost, repair to bring the property into a rentable status after you submit an offer. Just so you know, let me repeat myself. Although it's very you need to be very courageous to make an offer, assuming you qualify. Otherwise, so soon this listings comes aboard, and I see the listing every single day. You must do a quick 1 hour due diligence. Trust me on my initial research and due diligence, and then you have to submit an offer. If the offer get accepted by the VA within a few days from now, then it's still a condition that you have to submit, order the inspection report, identify the rehab cost, and then determine how much is rehab cost. Then, upon the approval of the inspection report, then you can proceed with the contract. Just because your offer get accepted does not mean that you're stuck to the contract. You can back out anytime along the way, but it's important to get your offer accepted, obviously, because of the urgency, some time-sensitive nature of the VA foreclosure purchase system. All right, so your total out-of-pocket, including projection rehab costs and closing costs and down payment, is merely around 16 grand. So isn't it amazing? All your risk is only 16 grand to leverage a property costing at least 144,000, right? You're buying an income-producing property, which will create cash flow and potential appreciation long-term for you on the return on investment, which is quite attractive to. All right, so and the projected rent, as I stated here, around 1,500. My numbers are fairly realistic. And the 5% vacancy rate on a monthly and annual basis, as you can see here, and the numbers are adjusted accordingly. The property tax, although is high at 255, is almost 2%. Everybody know about the property taxes in Texas, but that should not alone will dissuade you from purchasing. You have to look at the big picture, the big numbers here, as I'm displaying at this moment. Insurance, a typical $51 a month. And the property management fee, 10% could be lower, but I want to be realistic, 10% of the projected monthly rent. And then maintenance factor over time, around $75 per month, typically $900, sort of a unforeseen potential out-of-pocket maintenance and rehab costs over time due to wear and tear of the property and tenant vacancy, tenant quality scenarios, right? And then minus your, so therefore, look at the financial indicators, 1% rent to value ratio, which is a good benchmark, and then capitalization rate 7.5%, which is above the cap rate on cash flow. Cash and cash return is 17%, very attractive numerical rating, and then 49% total return on investment is based on the annual appreciation projection, which is a mere 2%, which is right here at the end of the first year, almost $3,000 appreciation on paper. And then principal reduction, you have to factor that in. I know that's kind of hard to explain. And then the monthly net, here's the key, right? Your $1,500 projected rent minus your mortgage, which is $675 per month, and the other costs, right? Taxes, insurance, and property management fees, and 5% vacancy, 5% maintenance, and you still have a positive cash flow of $226 per month. Okay, this is a critical number you need to understand. A mere 5% down, not 25% down, you leverage, and then that's what you get. A monthly cash flow 226, which is very attractive cash flow number. So, all right. And then, of course, your annual net cash flow, $2,714. Your principal reduction by paying down your loan equal a tax benefit of $2,300. First year appreciation at 2% equal almost $3,000 of on paper appreciation at the end of the first year. Total equity income $7,900. Total gross equity income plus tax savings equals almost $8,000. So you get total on paper profit is almost 8,000, and the initial down payment and closing costs and rehab costs is only 16,225. You divide one number by the other equals 49% total return on your investment. Does it make sense? It's not that hard, right? It's not rocket scientist. Very simple mathematics. A third grader can get this, all right? You are an adult, okay? Use common sense and average intelligence to go over the feasibility of buying a unique investment property such as this one, among many others that we are presenting. All right, I think that I rest my case. So I mean, yeah, to qualify clearly, right? You understand, right? You need to pay me a fee of $1,977 non-refundable to enter my program to buy for each property you wish to purchase through my assistance. We work on one-on-one. Then of course you have to have 2 years of property management experience to qualify to get the 5% down vendee financing per this unique VA foreclosure system. So a lot of qualification required, but the most important qualification is your motivation, is your commitment, is your DNA, the ability to pull the trigger quickly and understand the system that we are pursuing. But if you have all these attributes as an investor, of course you can you contact me. I'm going to interview you. Then I will determine whether you are the kind of people that can benefit from working together with me to do this VA foreclosure purchase system. But for those of you can meet our stringent requirement, you can receive a lot of tremendous amount of benefit of buying multiple VA foreclosures to achieve your retirement goals. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. Longer than usual presentation. I will make it shorter next time, but I have to provide as much as information as possible in each presentation. Thank you so much. This is Seewing Yee from Yee Listen Network. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.